Chapter 8. Everyone Dead in Nagasaki. Kensuke explained that we would use the boat to go out to sea so that we could catch larger fish. We dragged it down to the sea and jumped in. Then Kensuke began to tell me about his life. This is what happened. Kensuke was born in Nagasaki in Japan. He studied medicine and became a doctor. He moved to London to study in Guy's Hospital, so learned how to speak a bit of English. Then he returned to Japan, got married to a woman called Kimi, and had a son called Mikia. But when war broke out, he had to join the Navy to be a doctor on a big warship. At first, the Japanese Army and Navy won many battles. But then the war began to go badly for Japan. The ship Kensuke was on was bombed, and he saw many people die. When more bombs were dropped on the ship, Kensuke found that he was the only person still alive on the ship. The ship drifted onto the island where he and I were now. On the radio, he heard that a huge bomb had been dropped on Nagasaki. Kensuke was sure that his family were dead. He was very sad. He took lots of things from the ship: pots, pans, bottles, sheets, medicine, and a knife. He moved these things into his cave before the ship sank due to a large storm. The ship is now under the sand of one of the island's beaches. Some American soldiers came to the island, but he hid in his cave so they didn't find him. Kensuke was able to survive on the island by watching the orangutans, seeing what they ate and learning to climb as they did. While Kensuke was explaining his story, I caught a large fish. Kensuke continued. Nobody else came to the island for many years, but a year ago men with guns came. Kensuke called them killer men. Kensuke hid the orangutans in his cave, but the men shot many gibbons. Then they left. One day Kensuke was out fishing when the wind blew him far out to sea, so he couldn't get back to the island before evening and was out at night time. It was then that he saw me, Stella, and the ball after we had fallen off the Peggy Sue. He rescued us and brought us back to the island. Kensuke explained that at the time, although he was glad that I wasn't dead, he didn't want anyone else on his island, not since the killer men had been there. He was willing to give me food and water to keep me alive. But when I made fire, he was worried that if people came to the island, they might try to harm the orangutans or gibbons. He was angry and didn't want to see me. Kensuke told me not to swim in the sea because he knew that it would be full of jellyfish after the storm. When I was stung, Kensuke thought I would die, but he took me back to his cave and used vinegar he had made from berries to kill the poison. You strong again, and we friends now. You are like son to me now. We happy people. You my family now, Mika-san, yes? Kensuke finished. Yes, I said. I meant it. Kensuke showed me how to row the boat, and I rowed it back to the island as Kensuke fell asleep. I had grown to think of Kensuke as family, but I still missed my mother and father. Surely by now they must believe I had drowned. I thought about lighting another fire, but I couldn't betray Kensuke again. The next morning, a plastic Coke bottle washed up on the beach. That gave me an idea. I buried the bottle under the sand while I decided what to do. A few days later, when Kensuke was out fishing, I found an old sheet in his cave and I wrote, "To the Peggy Sue, Fareham, England. Dear Mum and Dad, I am alive, I am well, I live on an island. I do not know where. Come and find me. Love, Michael." I put the message in the bottle, screwing the lid back on tightly. I threw the bottle out to sea and watched it bob away. That evening I felt too guilty to eat. The next afternoon, when Kensuke and I were painting, Stella came into the cave with the bottle in her mouth. Kensuke saw what I had done.